Okay, hope everybody's had a nice weekend. Today is the first day of June 2014. So let's take a look at some stock before the market reopen for trading tomorrow. If you haven't seen my post regarding the S&P 500, you might want to go to my blog and take a read of that so you kind of get a sense of where the S&P might be heading, what to expect. But looking at the spider, you see the spider is hitting this 127 extension, which is, pretty much the same as the S&P 500, and encountered that resistance somewhere up at this, near this 190, 193, area. And I do expect a little bit of a pullback next week, because we have quite a one, in the last week or so, week and a half. Ever since after Memorial weekend, we came back, and this thing is just, it's like a nonstop, and it came up here. So, I think a lot of people got a little bit, too complacent, and especially some of the long. So the market will shake them out, and then we'll attract some short on there, and then maybe from there get a additional fuel for the fire to push it up once again. But at least right now, I'm kind of looking at the S&P might come down and fill this gap here. Maybe it come down to this 191, 190 area, and then the Q. Same thing. The Q. Remember we were talking about that. It's going to come up and break about this level. Then most likely it's going to tag this pivot. If it tag this pivot, then we just watch it to work itself up and put up a new 50, which it did. And similarly on the Q, I do look for a slight pullback and possibly come down and fill this gap here. Wouldn't be surprised to get down to retest this support on this pivot. So the reason I'm looking at that is, we basically have to keep an eye on these index because, what we expect and how these these momentum stock will influence it. One is on the Q. If we look at the Netflix been quite strong. And I posted a chart sometime last week indicating that might encounter resistance somewhere between the zone here, 416, 432, and the 432 essentially up here. So on Friday with the AAPL, we got a little bit of a spinning, a spinning top type of a candle. And if we also look at the intraday chart here, it's kind of interesting to watch because again, I do expect it to pull back. And if we take a look at the Fibonacci retracement, right, and we are looking at this level here, somewhere around this, basically this 380 area, right? Okay, and that's coincide with the 50% retracement here. Okay, and again, if we also look at the daily chart, this is the 380 as well. So we might be seeing a little bit of a pullback and maybe get a little bit pause at a 402 and possibly the 390, but wouldn't be surprised to see it come back and try to test this 380 support here on this pivot before it make another move or decide a direction that it's gonna take the next move on. And then the other one is Apple. The Apple will have a lot of influence on the SPY, the spider. So did encounter some resistance up here at somewhere around the 644, 645. And once again, we take a look at the intraday chart, and we could see that using this Fibonacci swing here, we see that it could come back down to this 621 on the 618 extension to 382, which is the 607. So I wouldn't be surprised that it could come down to the 607 because if we look back on the 607, that's essentially somewhere around this this little bit of a congestion here. So we could see that possibility of pulling back, and that might also set up a good possible buying opportunity for some of the swing long. And again, with the WWDC, I think it's starting tomorrow. And usually, those kind of event, I don't want to trade Apple because it's very volatile. It's just like an earning play, and you can and never expect what it might happen. So I'm just going to be a little bit of an observer tomorrow to see what the price action is. So I'm just kind of standing on the sideline right now for Apple. And then the other one that we want to look at is Facebook. And also on Facebook, we're talking about that 64 level, which is this level up here that it has to break. and then we see that as a potential resistance, which it's the kind of got sneaked up under, but it wasn't able to close above that. So right now it's looking for a possible pullback back to this little zone area here, and maybe we test this little gap here, this level here, somewhere around the 60 area. So, and also it's kind of coincide with this 50-day moving average. So a lot of these moving average observer or those trader might be waiting for the price to pull back to that level before they go back in and buy some Facebook. Then finally, looking at Google, and again, Google been quite strong as well. It seems like it's setting up a little bit of a bull flag that it might take it further up. But looking at the intraday chart, I be a little bit of skeptical that it will develop this bull flag and move up. But anything is possible. But especially right now, I'm kind of expecting or looking for a pullback on the Nasdaq, especially in the tech area. So I do expect maybe Google also pull back and come back to this particular zone here somewhere around the 555 and the 550 area, which is also coincide to this Fibonacci swing retracement zone, between the 618 and the 282. So it's anywhere between the 557 to 544 area, because you could also see that 544 got a little bit of support here. So wouldn't be surprised that it might come down and fill this little gap here and test this 544. So might have a little bias on expecting a pullback next week, but I would rather just be a little bit cautious and look for a possible pullback to determine what the next play will be, rather than try to chase after these up move here, because to me I see the reward to risk ratio is just not worth my while to take that. I would rather just miss the next few point on the upside than get trapped on taking the elevator down. So hopefully everybody out there will be a little bit cautious next week, because I think it's going to be a little bit of a volatile week. There's a lot of event, and especially the ECB. I think that in regardless what the ECB is going to do, the market is going to sell off. So that's my take on it, because if the ECB decide to cut rate, and they're just going to sell on the news. If they're not going to cut rate, then people were going to sell based on disappointment. So regardless, I believe that we're going to have a little bit of a bake and shake in the next week, the week to come. So good luck to everybody on the trading next week.